Hey everybody, so I wanted to start out this video with a couple of disclaimers. So first of all, this video is in no way indicative of every Reiki professional that you will run across. You may encounter some of this stuff, you may not encounter any of this stuff. It's a really big sliding scale, and this is meant to be kind of a broad strokes video on what to expect when you go for a Reiki treatment. The other thing is Reiki may or may not work for some people. Some people will have wonderful deeply healing experiences. Some people just feel like, didn't really do anything. That's fine. It's like any other healing modality. It may or may not work for some people. So if you go for a Reiki treatment and you find that it's just not what you expected, that's fine. That's perfectly okay. It may not be the right healing modality for you, or it may not be the right one at this time. So just bear all that in mind and come with me now while I tell you about the many things to expect when going for a Reiki appointment. So we're going to start. There are two general situations where you're going to go to someone's office. And that will actually be a formal office space that is rented or sublet, or someone's home. We're going to start with the rented office or sublet first. So a lot of Reiki masters or a lot of Reiki practitioners have different skills. Some strictly do Reiki, and that's fine. A lot of time you'll find it paired up with massage therapy, reflexology, acupressure. Those are just to name a few. There's a bunch more as far as maybe physical therapy. Those are kind of the more medicinal ends, and then obviously other energy work, sound healing, shamanism, tuning fork healing. Just there's a lot of options for what Reiki can be paired with. So that being said, especially when it comes to the first set of like massage, reflexology, acupressure, yoga is another big one. I know a lot of Reiki practitioners that also do yoga. Um, So in this case, these are obviously going to be more professional spaces. You're going to have possibly a room, a waiting room of some kind, maybe, or a little waiting space, and then an office if it's massage therapy, or if it's, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Is it just massage therapy? It might be just massage therapy I'm thinking of. You may have like bays, you may have rooms. You might find this at a lot of spas as well. But you're going to have a more professional environment. The rooms might be a little bit more uniform, a little bit more rigid on time structure as to how it's done, and it may be paired with other things or however you have set up your payment schedule. Now, there will also be a public bathroom available to you. Now, on the other end of it, you have people that work out of their home. And there's generally kind of two groups of people that work out of their home. It's people that are starting out, starting over, or they traditionally only work with a very small group of clients, maybe friends, family, and referrals therefrom. On the other end of that, the people that work from home is you have people that have established practices and actually have a space to work from. Why does that matter? I will show you. Because the people that have established practices will more than likely have a room or an area set up where they can take their clients for Reiki. If they're doing different readings or they're doing different healings, they have a spot set aside for that. If it's someone that either is starting out or has a small number of clients, it's not going to be that organized. They will do their very best, but what's going to happen is you're going to be walking through someone's house, essentially. I have a friend that when she hosts Reiki share, you walk into the house and boom, there's the Reiki table in the middle of the living room. There's the couch, the table, the TV. It's all the only space she has to do it in, and that's perfectly fine. You may be in someone's living room, you may be in someone's dining room, you may be in someone's porch, you may be in a guest room. So do not be surprised if you find that you are kind of meandering through parts of someone's house. There should also be, if you are a Reiki practitioner and you work out of your home, please make sure you have a bathroom available for people. Why is this important? No one wants to go through a Reiki session with a full bladder. It is not a good time. It's not a good experience. It's very hard to relax. And also, if you have people coming from a long distance, or they're going from somewhere to and from whatever, just make sure you have something of it, some kind of facilities available to them. Now, if you have a handicapped client, that's where things get a little bit more awkward because I don't know if there will be individual state mandates. That is definitely something you will want to look into for your own home. Obviously, with the American with Disabilities Act, someone in a commercial space has to have availability for handicapped clients. So that may be your best bet to start with, because otherwise it's going to be the layout and setup of someone's home is going to determine how they're going to take clients or who they can take. And I can say that from experience because we have stairs everywhere in this house. So it is a problem if someone has mobility issues. We had this problem with my dad when he had knee surgery. We had to figure out what was the easiest way to get him in the house. And he was in my bedroom for a while until he was able to move upstairs to the master bedroom. Then, like, we have a cousin that has a walker, and my aunt, should she ever come to visit, she lives overseas, is wheelchair bound. We have had discussions about how best to accommodate these family members, and it's usually a little bit of a loss because we're not really sure. Some people, all they need to get is a collapsible ramp and they're good to go. Other people may not be able to accommodate. More than likely, it will be wheelchair bound people if someone's on crutches or in a boot or a walker, depending on how bad it is. They may still, that is going to be very much up to the individual client and to the individual practitioner. I'm just going to leave that there. What should you expect? Well, come with me and I will show you the basic makeup of a Reiki session. So more often than not, Reiki practitioners use massage tables. So you're going to have a massage table. I forgot to grab a blanket. That's what I was going to grab. But basically you have a pillow for your head. This came with the table, so you could use this for someone's knees or back, or there could be a secondary table. If you have a tall person, you're going to use this thing to extend, so that there's another spot for their head. And then obviously there are the arm grips if you have, someone that needs those. You may walk in a session and none of this stuff is there. It's just pillows and blankets. Ignore the accoutrement in the background because I am one of those people, I don't have a setup. So this is kind of what it looks like. And this will be the same if you have someone that's working from home or working out of a commercial building. Another thing you'll see, I forgot to grab it as well, you will have something set up for music. So maybe someone's cell phone, someone's laptop, tablet, Bluetooth speaker. And then some of the other things you might see around are things like smudges. You might have liquid smudges if you have a client that is allergic to smoke. So this is Florida water. This is rose water. And you just spray these in the corner. You also may get a lingering whiff of it. This is the homemade smudge stick I made. This is not sage, this is mugwort and lemon balm, but you get the idea. So you may see these burning. There may be incense or a candle burning in the background. You may also see various types of crystals. So let me get it out. So for example, a lot of Reiki practitioners use pendulums to check the chakra points, make sure they're open, they're closed, they're blocked, what's going on. This is, I forgot to pull these out ahead of time. So you also may see what is the equivalent of a chakra grid, and that's okay, I'll pick that up. Or not a chakra grid, the chakra lineup. So you may have a bunch of crystals where they will line them up according to the chakras. And there's a piece of citrine floating around in here. There it is. And what they will do is when you go to lie down, they'll put these on your chakras. The last two they may have you do, or they may have, they may put them by your feet. I have 8 here, or 9. I have 9 because I have the green calcite and rose quartz for the heart chakra, and then I have red tiger's eye for the root and smoky quartz for the earth chakra. So this one they may have you put on yourself because this is generally in the genital region, so to avoid any issues, or they may not use this and just put this by your feet. It's another thing that will happen. You may also find, towers, palm stones. These are actually crystal grids. Some people will sell them, some people own them. This is to put around the body to help with certain healings. Let me get the little diagram out just to show you the layout. So someone might have that. They may use that as well depending on what's going on. This is a headache grid. This is one I put together myself, and oh, I don't have a drawing on there. So it's like you have one for the crown. This goes on the third eye. Sorry, I'm not paying attention to where I'm aiming the camera. So, and these two go on the shoulders. So this is for headaches. This is a citrine one. This is an exhaustion grid. This is malachite, rose quartz, and clear quartz. I forget what the other stone is. This is for the immune system. I bought those. So sometimes someone may have them. They've bought them for themselves or use them for clients. They may have 1 or 2 sets. They may or may not be up for sale, depending. They may have a wand available to help with healing. I will put a link to the playlist for this, for the Shiny Things playlist, because there's a lot of different shapes that are covered. You know, they may have like double terminated crystals if there's something going on and the flow needs to be opened up. So you might see some of these. Some practitioners do not work with any of these. So that is something to also bear in mind. Some people don't use anything, and some people do. It's entirely up to them. Now, Reiki is generally about touch. It's a healing modality that requires touching someone. So traditionally, there are 2 kind of schools of thought. One is that you don't touch the person. Your hand, hopefully this translates. Let me move my assistant down a little bit. You hover your hand over the body and you clean the energy away. You may also have a very light touch. I don't know how well that's going to translate either. Or you might have a very firm touch. Unlike massage, where I know a lot of massage therapy is on the back, where you're digging into, you're kind of knuckling in, you're really getting deep into the muscle structure. Reiki doesn't do that. What I mean by firm touch is you might feel pressure. I'm not going to be, pushing you into the table, but you might feel a very firm but gentle touch. And it will vary throughout. Every now and then you may get booped in the nose. You may get kind of brushed over. It depends on how each individual person does it. Some practitioners are I don't want to say they're very comfortable with touching, but they are more prevalent to touch. Others hover, and then some kind of go between the two depending on how blocked you are or what's going on with that specific chakra. If there is an attachment that needs to be removed,
You may feel that firm pressure as they kind of pour a lot of energy into a situation. But for the most part, that is it. You should not. So you should not be groped. You should not be fondled. You should not be touched in any way inappropriately. The only, I guess the only slight caveat to that would be if you are a particularly big busted woman. And because the heart chakra is here, someone may end up inadvertently kind of brushing over you or over your breasts in an attempt to get to that chakra, especially if it needs a lot of healing. So use your best interest. You can tell if it's an accident or if someone's really just, if you open your eyes and their eyes are closed and they're really focused, more often than not, you're going to find that your Reiki practitioners are going to be working with their eyes closed because they're working on intuition. If their eyes are open, they're either kind of double checking, like, where are my hands? Because I've had situations where I thought I was here and I'm like over here. I'm still working in the aura field, but I'm not quite where I thought I was. which is always really interesting to me. Like, why am I over here, but I'm supposed to be over here? Use your best judgment. If something feels uncomfortable, you can always call them out. If you have knee and back problems, let your practitioner know. They will give you, this is for like the behind your knees. You can get an extra pillow for the back or for the knees. So hopefully they will be able to accommodate you in that way. You may also notice sometimes a stool or a chair that they will use to move around in. Another thing is pets may appear. A lot of animals are drawn to that kind of energy. They're drawn to the healing energy, so they'll just kind of appear. It may also be that the animal is stepping forward to help calm the nerves of the client. There may be something going on and the dog or the cat is picking up on that, and they want to add an extra level of comfort and healing to the session and are working with their owner to do so.
I forgot to mention this, but another thing you might see in someone's office is also an altar off to the side. That will be more prevalent in a home office than in a professional one. So you also may see statues, religious statues, water features, singing bowls, other accoutrement connected to other healing arts that may or may not be used. I do also want to add that if you have a practitioner that is cross-trained in something like reflexology or acupressure, some Reiki practitioners use those in their Reiki sessions. So whereas Reiki is a very gentle touch or to a firm touch, something like acupressure is going to be controlled pressure points on the body. So you might feel a lot of pressure bordering on painful on certain pressure points on the body. It is what it is. One thing that is advised, wear comfortable clothes. Wear loose fitting clothes or wear comfortable clothes. You can bring clothes to change into if you should so choose. Just let the person know ahead of time. Be like, "Hey, I'm coming from work. Is it okay if I change when I get there?" Or I have to meet some people after the appointment. Is it okay if I use your bathroom to change clothes? The reason is that it depends on how the person has their appointments staggered out. It shouldn't be an issue. I mean, as long as you're not doing like your full on makeup and hair and everything in their bathroom, it shouldn't be an issue. But um but just give them a heads up. It's just nice to know so that if you're walking in with like a backpack or a small duffel, bag or a tote bag, and they're like, "Meh," just general courtesy just to let them know. You should never be asked to strip down. Now, that's different if you're going for a massage treatment with Reiki involved, or, yeah. If someone, I don't know how you mix these two together because the levels of touch are very different, but I'm sure there are people that have worked it out and know exactly how to mix this. Um, Unless you're going for a massage treatment or you're going for a massage treatment with Reiki, you should not be asked to strip. because you don't need to be unclothed to do a Reiki session. Your clothes should stay on. If you are cold and you want to add layers or you want to ask for a blanket, that's fine. If you're hot, there's not much you can really do in that moment. I mean, you can ask and be like, hey, can you take the blanket off? Or don't you really want to figure out temperature control beforehand? Why? You don't talk during a Reiki session. I realize during like massage or certain situations that you can carry a conversation with the person that's working on you. That does not happen in Reiki. You can talk before, afterwards, you may get information about how your session went, feedback on what's going on. You may get messages from deceased loved ones. You may get medical information. You may get validation on what's going on. It will very much vary. Traditionally, more likely than not, you're going to get, hey, are you having problems? I noticed I was focusing a lot on your sinuses. Oh yeah, I've got really bad allergies. Or, oh yeah, I was just getting over a sinus infection. Hey, I noticed that you've had I was focusing a lot on the lungs and the chest. I was clearing out a lot of stuff, and someone might be like, oh, I had a chest cold that I couldn't get rid of. It may be an emotional thing. Someone might be like, yeah, I've been revisiting, I've been working through different stuff, and that's where it's manifesting. On some occasions, the dead will step forward to deliver messages. If you have a practitioner that is also a medium, um, they may get messages from your loved ones. So you may get a message from, hey, grandma's around, she knows what's going on, she's trying to help you through it, or oh, hey, you know, this dead person that's connected to this one, they were working, there was some car problems going on, I noticed. Oh yeah, I was having a really, I've been having a lot of car trouble recently. Okay, spirit's aware of it. Um, so those are other things. You may experience touching. You may, how do I, you may experience the feeling of extra hands. So Reiki is known as the God consciousness. It's life force and God consciousness. And what happens is the Reiki practitioner is the channel for the divine, for God, kind of the hollow shell, if you will, or the hollow bone through which the energy flows. I have had many situations in both Reiki and shamanic healings where someone has moved their hands and I will still feel hands where their hands were, or I will feel extra hands. That is your guides, your angels, your loved ones, the universe, however you choose to look at it. It is not a bad thing. Reiki never harms, it is only meant to heal. And when you experience that, it is your loved ones stepping forward to help you to heal. So it can be very unnerving if you are not used to it or you are not expecting it. So if you experience that, try not to freak out. I know that's one thing to say, another thing to experience, but it's okay. It's okay if you feel extra hands, you know, like someone move their hands away, but I can still very firmly feel touch of someone else. That is your loved ones or your guides stepping in to aid in the healing. Because generally that's what I know that's what I do, and I know that's what some of the other women I work with do. They will call in their own Reiki guides, and you will call in the loved ones or the guides of the person that you're working with to step in and help. Music. So I mentioned that somewhere there will be something for music playing. Laptop, phone, tablet, Bluetooth, whatever. So it could be any kind of music. It could be, oh, not any kind of music, I shouldn't say that. It might be something like meditation music, nature sounds. If some massage therapists have these little like machines where it's aromatherapy and music. So you might get like lavender scented in the air while the ocean sounds are playing, or while, forest or jungle sounds are playing. You can ask your person, what They may ask which you prefer. They may have stuff that they go to. Um, I don't know if I've ever heard of a white noise machine, but it could, someone could have a white noise machine, just a fan to block out extra noise. Um, but there will be some kind of music playing. Very rare is it that you're walking into a silent room, because it helps to keep the energy high. It helps to kind of create that sense of sacred space. Generally, the room has been cleansed beforehand. Um, so that's to just keep that elevated. It's meant to calm and relax. I often ask people if they need help meditating because I work with a lot of people who are not common, who don't meditate. They're not used to this. They don't really, so I'll ask them, do you need me to help kind of guide you into a calm state of mind? Some say no, some say yes, some know they can't achieve it. So they're like, some of my clients have ADD and they're like, I can physically not move, but my brain is going. And I'm like, but I want to help you kind of quiet that. Okay, well, we'll work with what we have. Um, Speaking of that, what will also happen is, depending depending on what's going on, if you are an avid caffeine user, if you are an avid drinker, or you are someone that uses recreational drugs, you will generally be advised to cut down on your caffeine the day of your appointment. If you have an appointment first thing in the morning, they may tell you to skip your morning coffee or tea because caffeine's a stimulant. If you use recreational drugs, you may be asked anywhere from 24 hours to a week out from your appointment to not use. Please let your practitioner know if you use medical grade marijuana for pain management because that will very subtly affect things. Why do I say that? The same will also be true of alcohol. They may tell you within, again, 24 hours to a week out to cut down or cut out your alcohol consumption. The reason is that certain drugs, certain things affect the way the healing works. And so if you are someone who likes to imbibe and drinks, what may end up happening is all of the healing clusters around the liver. And it may be very difficult for the practitioner to move it away to other parts of the body that need healing. If you're someone that prefers more mentally calming or stimulating drugs, something like marijuana, it all settles up here. All of the energy settles up here in an attempt to heal the crown and the third eye. And it again can be very difficult for the practitioner to move that through the body where there are other blockages. So that is why they may ask you to cut down or cut out for a specific amount of time. Um, I know when I've gone for attunements for like Reiki levels 2, 3, master, that's what I was told. It may not be that as extreme for clients unless the practitioner is well acquainted with the client and it's like, for the next 3 days, you cannot do these things. Please make sure to take your regular medication. However, please do not cut out regular medications, which is why if you use something kind of unusual for pain management or for whatever, let them know and so that they can adjust accordingly because obviously you're coming for a reason. You're coming for pain. You're coming to heal some kind of blockage, emotional, physical, mental, spiritual, and that will make a difference. So just give your practitioner a heads up because of that. Do not show up to your appointment high because now you are a physical and spiritual liability and you will more than likely be denied service. Why is that? First of all, you might be slightly unpredictable in the physical realm. Second of all, I will go into this maybe more in a different video. What happens is when you use certain medicinals or certain, I don't even know what code word to use for them, what it is you blow some of your chakras so far open, and you are in such either a low vibration. No, usually you're never really in a high vibration, you're in a low vibration, that you are drawing in things and you are a beacon to other energies. And now you are potentially bringing that into someone's home and someone's office space, and they don't want that. So they have every right to turn you away and be like, come and see me when you're sober. It's not something that really gets discussed, but there are reasons, there are spiritual reasons behind that. And I do kind of want to go into it into a video, but I think I might have to further age restrict that video, and I don't really know how to go about that. But that's the best way I can explain it. That is one of those things where I would just politely request, don't do that. I don't know if anyone's ever had that happen. Maybe my teacher has. You're not going to be let in the house, or you're not going to be let into the business. They will ask you to leave for a variety of reasons. And having worked in customer service long enough, I can tell you dealing with someone in that state of mind, drunk or high, is not a pleasant experience. So, yeah. Now, goodies. On rare occasions, you might leave with goodies. What kind of goodies? So, depending on how your practitioner works, um, they may give you it's worked into the price more than likely. So there's two approaches to this. It is something that is worked into the price of your appointment. So if you leave, you may leave with a certain crystal or a crystal grid or a wand or whatever you need to help you on your healing practice. Some people grow their own herbs and they're like, hey, take this. It'll help with X, Y, and Z. It'll help with lung problems. It'll help with detox. This will help with the liver, parasites, whatever, heart, inflammation. So sometimes you may leave with something that has obviously been worked into the price of your appointment. Sometimes you might leave with something that your practitioner feels you need in order to continue and enhance your healing. It could be crystals, it could be herbs, it could be an extra reading, card reading, rune reading, mediumship reading. There's a lot of stuff that could be, that people might be like, hey, I was told you need this, take it with you. The other end of it is at the end of the appointment, what will sometimes happen is your practitioner will review what they've got, like I've mentioned, and they might say to you, these might be of interest to you. Crystal grids, herbs, maybe a different type of healing that they offer. You're like, hey, this is something that I think will do good for you. Could be a statue, a picture, it could be some kind of homework, and they might ask you if you want it. And it could be, X number of dollars additional because they weren't really sure how open or receptive you would be to it. And maybe it's something that is more expensive or whatever. It's more of like a free will thing, kind of like, hey, I think this would do you good. You don't need it if you want it. It might also be the kind of thing where they offer it to you, you're like, no, maybe another time, and you come back for your next appointment and you're like, hey, do you still have that, XYZ thing? Oh yeah, can I buy it? So it could be something like that. It's not really upselling, it's more of here's a thing I think is good for you. I don't know how receptive you will be to it. I don't know if you'll use it. I'm going to let you make that choice so that if you want it, it's here, you can get it. If not, perfectly fine. You don't have to buy it and you don't have to use it. Sometimes what happens is people fall asleep. I have had people fall asleep during appointments, and that's fine. Another thing that happens, I did a short on this, and it's funny because it was not necessarily well received, but it is true. Because you'll find that sometimes in meditations or different types of healing, people twitch. They twitch, they spasm, they move. That's a good thing because what it means is you're releasing something. It's a release of some kind of energy. It's a healing thing. Another thing is that's also kind of embarrassing for some people to talk about stomach gurgles, gas, etc. That's natural. It happens. It means the healing is working. So if don't be embarrassed if it happens, because it happens to all of us. It might be the practitioner is the one that's getting kind of the stomach gurgles and whatnot, or it might be you as the client that's getting it. Frequency. How often should you go? In a perfect world, it's one appointment in every 2 weeks, so you have 3 appointments in a span of 2 months. You can stretch it out where you can do one appointment per month, so one, two, three, for financial reasons. After that, it depends on what is going on because it can take those first 3 sessions just to kind of clear out your aura and clear out what's going on and for you to actually experience any healing. So I would recommend if you can do it financially, try and stick with the initial like 3 appointments and see what happens. Um, and then go from there. The reason why I say it depends on what's going on. So you may be working with someone and you're going maybe once a month for maybe 6 months to kind of clear something up or work through something, and then you don't feel the need to go anymore. You might go once every couple weeks for like a year and then feel like you're good, and then maybe go every 2 or 3 months after that. It really depends on what's going on. It's very individualistic. The reason why I say in a perfect world you would do the 3 appointments in like 2 months, every 2 weeks, is because I have had people that will come for one appointment and then never come back. Or they'll have 3 appointments over a span of like 6 months to a year. Um, it's not ideal, but I get it. Financially, I understand. It can be, this is not generally covered by insurance unless I think you have the VA. They are the only ones that I know of that cover this for insurance. So you're paying out of pocket. And depending on how much your practitioner is, then you may or may not be able to swing that. You will notice that I have not gone over cost in this video, and the reason is because I want to see if I can get a better snapshot of the country. I know what it is in my home state, and I might be able to get a kind of a picture of some of the surrounding northeastern states. I want to see if I can broaden that out a little bit. Just more than likely, it's going to be kind of a sliding scale of low end, high end, middle range. Um, but I haven't been able to really dig into that the way I want to. And that will be another video. What I may try and do is put cost and the types of practitioners together because there are different types of practitioners. So there are practitioners for everyone and there are clients for everyone. So never feel like I've gone to this person. I don't necessarily know if I like them, but they're all I have. That may be the case geographically, but you should know that there should be a practitioner here that can meet your needs. So how long are your appointments? Traditionally, Reiki appointments are roughly about 45 minutes to an hour. Every practitioner is going to do things a little bit differently, but roughly that's about what they are. Maybe on rare occasions, an hour and a half if there's really something going on that needs to be addressed. But they are traditionally 45 minutes to an hour. So there is another option if you are looking for a Reiki appointment. Some practitioners will drive to you. You will have to pay more. You will more than likely be paying whatever the mileage fee is in your individual state. And they will probably have less stuff with them than like I showed you. The other thing is that they may use your own furniture They may use your bed, your couch. Why, if you fall asleep, they just might quietly walk away and leave. Or they have a table, and that thing I'm telling you is not easy to maneuver. That thing is heavy and awkward. So that is the other thing. And if someone's got to lug that thing up a driveway or whatnot, yeah, you're you may be factored into the price a little bit. But yes, there are some people that will drive to you if you cannot travel or if you have someone who is bedridden and can't really travel the way they want to. Yes, there are people that will drive. Just be aware that you will end up paying for it. Um, the availability may also be, I don't know how that would work out. That's really up to the individual because they're losing time driving to and from. So that's really up to the individual. So maybe like, yeah, I'll do it on a weekend or I'll do it during the week. So you may have to work within that person's schedule. Again, that is very individualistic because this isn't a dig, it's just a statement, partially a statement of truth. Spiritual spiritual work doesn't always pay well. It's very unstable. Um, and unless someone's got multiple income streams, it can be very hard to do this on your own, or if you hopefully have a spouse or significant other that makes more money. So, if this is someone's side hustle, you are dealing with a really abbreviated kind of schedule where someone's maybe only doing nights and weekends. That is something else to bear in mind when scheduling because they may be doing it after their work hours or on weekends. And then there are also pop-up situations. So what's a pop-up situation? Holistic fairs, psychic fairs, Renaissance fairs, the state fair, the town fair, business fairs. You may run into these people who are just trying to drum up business, get themselves out there. Maybe it's a charity event and they're donating time. Maybe your office has hired them. These are generally going to be like 15-minute sessions. Usually, I will post a picture of it here. They may have like a massage chair that they use as opposed to having to lug the desk or the table. They may also just use a plain old like folding chair as well. It's up to them. Again, much more abbreviated stuff. That's another way that you can try and experiment with this, see if it's up to see if you like the experience as opposed to the practitioner, if it's something you want to deal. Probably your biggest question is, what does it feel like? What should I expect or experience? I can't answer that. That's actually a very individualistic and very individualized experience. Some of what people report is they report feelings of heat. You'll notice the practitioner's hands get really hot. I've had people say that they feel like wings. They feel like angel wings surround them. People hands touching them. Um, just general warmth. Some people don't experience anything. You may experience hot and cold flashes. Um, Trying to think of what other like things that the other people have said to me. Um, it's really hard because it's every person experiences something different, and even when they go for a Reiki session or multiple Reiki sessions, it's not always the same experience. You may hear things, you may see things. Um, I remember it was a kind of like a refresher attunement or whatever, and there were sparkles in front of my eye, and I heard someone like whisper, or like there was like murmuring in my ear. Um, like, were you guys talking about something, or did something like brush by my ear? And they're like, no. Oh, okay. So it's very individualistic of what you're going to experience. So that I actually can't answer. You have to kind of go through it and see what you experience. And to be fair, some people will experience nothing. They won't feel anything. They won't sense anything. It's just nothing. They may feel it the next day though. So that is another thing. You may not experience anything in the moment, but the next day you feel brighter, you feel happier, you feel more energized. That is another thing I've experienced. That happened to a friend, where she didn't really her. I was also working. You can do Reiki on pets. That's a whole other discussion. But like she didn't really feel anything in the moment. The next day she felt fantastic. So that's something else to also bear in mind. You may not feel it in that moment, but the next day you're like good to go for like a day or two, maybe even longer. You will also be advised to make sure you drink plenty of water before your appointment and after your appointment to flush the system and flush any toxins out of the system. You will also be advised to watch your caffeine and alcohol intake for like 3 days after your appointment. It's just to help, because basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to help the body flush itself out and clean out any negative energy and allow it to clear out of the aura, physically out of the system. So I think I have everything. At least that's what I have in all of my notes. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and if I need to, I'll do another video, answering any questions you might have. So take care. I hope you're doing well, and until we meet again, my friends, bye.